Let's talk Todd Monken and some comments that he made about the quarterback room. Mike, these are fascinating comments, but I'm going to say before we even get into it, what I love most about them is this dude says stuff. When you're done listening to his news conference, you're like, wow, I got 8 takeaways. Whereas in the old days, you'd listen to Stefanski talk for 30 minutes and everybody would look around the room and say, does anybody have a headline? He didn't say anything. Monken talks, man.
Yeah, he gave us 2 major headlines yesterday. We're going to dive into one now, the other in the YouTube portion of the show. But he was asked about the quarterbacks in 100 different ways yesterday. And one of the things he was asked about was, how often have the guys been around Berea? Have you got a chance to interact with? And Steve, you want to take tagboard full here. This is from Peter Schrager, who was one of the reporters out there. He says, Browns head coach Todd Monkin notes that Shedeur Sanders has been in the building a bunch the last few months working out. Dillon Gabriel, as far as he's aware, has not. He also went on to say Deshaun Watson has been in and out. So Shedeur there a lot. Sanders is the same person as Shedeur. I meant Watson there in and out. Dillon Gabriel not there. I know if this was reversed and Shedeur Sanders wasn't there, we'd do it as a topic. So we have to keep it consistent and have the same conversation about Dillon Gabriel. Dustin, you've been in these situations, not as a quarterback, but in NFL locker rooms. Is it an issue that Dillon Gabriel has not been in Berea up to this point of the offseason, considering the entire new regime change on offense?
Well, listen, there may be a reason why he's not there. He may be working out in a certain place or getting some private coaching or whatnot. I'm not saying he's not working out, but it's absolutely a big deal that he's not there. And the reason it's a big deal is because he doesn't know Todd Monken. And he doesn't know the new coaches. He doesn't know this new organization, essentially. And I'll take you back to 2006 when I was in Minnesota, and they just fired our whole staff. Mike Tice was the coach who drafted me, and they brought in Brad Childress and a whole new staff, right? And I'd never met these guys. I didn't know them. I mean, I just got drafted, and I'm there. Like Dillon Gabriel just got drafted. Same thing. I was 3rd round. He was 3rd round. And again, I was there. I was in the building. But these guys, it took me a while to get to know them. And, I actually had this, little incident at the snowmobile rally we had in the offseason where I got in an accident on one. Nothing egregious. It wasn't like a Tiger Woods situation, anything like that.
Right.
But it was just a little thing. And they were, really pissed at me about it. And they never met me. So they already had this mindset of me before I even got.
That was your first impression.
Yeah,
I'm reckless snowmobile.
Yes,
dude.
like Brad. I walked into Brad's office the day he got there or whatever, or I was there the first day he was there, and he makes this snide comment about the snowmobile, and I'm like, oh man, he doesn't even know me, and he's already judging me. And honestly, our relationship was over. I mean, pretty much it. Yeah. But I'm not. Again, I'm not saying that's the deal for Dillon, but. The first impression is he's not here, and for the coach to say that in the media says they probably haven't had much communication.
Interesting.
I agree with you. Not a good first impression, especially if the other guy, if I'm Dillon Gabriel and I'm hearing, hey, Shedeur's in that building every day. First thing I'm doing, getting on a plane, going to Cleveland, I'm getting in that building every day, because if you want that starting job, you have to prove that you want that starting job. It's a brand new coaching staff. It doesn't matter where you were drafted, what your contract is. They're going to play who they would trust and who has earned the job. I don't know what Dillon's potentially going through on the offseason. Maybe he's got family stuff. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he just needs to be away for a while. He's doing other things. But the fact that there's no communication is a red flag to me. And not that we were sitting here going, man, Dillon Gabriel, he really might be the starter next year. But it really just doesn't send a good signal.
Right.
If you have a multiple choice question on a piece of paper in front of you, and this is the question. It would best serve my interest to win the starting quarterback job of the Cleveland Browns if I, A, was at the complex every day, B, I was in and out, C, I haven't yet been there with the new coaching staff. Which one are you going to check?
I want to be there every day.
You're going to check
Absolutely.
A.
Yeah.
I need to be seen. I need to be top of mind. Shedeur Sanders is. And by the way, Mike, I liked your wording of the question. If this was the other way around and Dillon was there every day and Shedeur wasn't, Shedeur would be getting killed for this.
We got to keep it
killed
consistent.
for this. So you've got to keep it 100. And here's what I'll say on that. Number one, first and foremost, kudos to Shedeur Sanders. I said Monday he's in the driver's seat to win this job. I firmly believe that he is. I'm not predicting he's going to. I'm saying if you're Monken's coaching staff and you're going to put out a practice schedule and who gets the reps and ultimately a depth chart, which is what the media salivates over. Right now, the depth chart is Shedeur Sanders 1, Deshaun Watson 2, and Dillon Gabriel 3. And these guys are doing exactly that when it comes to putting that order together. And so kudos to Shedeur Sanders, putting in the work. How do you get better? You spend the offseason in the lab. You look at tape. What did I do last year that I can improve on this year? What did I do last year that was positive that I can accentuate and do even more of next year? And Shedeur Sanders is doing that work, so kudos to him. You're not going to win the job in March. But I think it's possible you can lose the job in March.
Well said.
And I think that's what happened to you, Dustin.
Yeah.
So Dustin Fox was a blank slate to Brad Childress and his staff. They didn't know much about you. They didn't draft you. They don't know personality profiles, work habits. They know nothing about you. You're a blank piece of paper. And the first thing that gets put on that piece of paper is, I'm reckless snowmobile dude.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what happened is we get to training camp and we're like in 7-on-7 and doing like non-contact drills and one-on-ones and stuff like that. And there were a couple occasions where, you know, there was some grabbing of the jersey and we ended up on the ground like 2 times during the first week of camp.
Which isn't uncommon.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. It happens to corners covering a receiver. Like you go down, you're playing a physical sport even though you don't have pads on. And he like literally called me out in front of the team, like for not staying up and getting on the ground. So again, the reckless, thinks I'm reckless in practice. And
2 checks.
Yeah.
It was an easy decision for him.
It was
not my guy.
His mind was already set, like going into camp about it.
And the thing is, I think all 3 of these guys were on the same playing field when Todd Monken was named the head coach. And by that I mean he had no previous dealings with any of them. So he didn't know. Everybody was kind of at ground zero. But now he does know. He's been in the building for a couple of months. He sees who's showing up. He sees who's putting in effort. He sees who's not showing up and who's not putting in effort. This is why I love Todd Monken. You know what Kevin Stefanski would have said to that question?
Here, I'll ask you the question. You be Kevin Stefanski. You ready?
We love role play.
I got to go.
We love role play.
We'll all go around.
Before you answer your question,
we love role play.
Before you ask your question, can you just give your name and your affiliation, please?
Hey, Coach. Mikey McNuggets, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Wait, is that your real last name, McNuggets?
Kevin wouldn't ask that.
You're right. I broke role play. Okay.
Let's go back into character.
Back in character.
Excuse me, Coach. Mikey McNuggets, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Thanks for taking the question, Coach. Which quarterbacks have you seen, in the facility this offseason the most?
As coaches, we don't have a scorecard. We don't take attendance every day. We think that it's important that players put in work. And players have various ways of doing that. Some players will put work in the facility. They feel that that's the area that's best suited for them to make improvements. Other players have their own infrastructure. We know Deshaun has a quarterback coach. We know that he likes to work out near his hometown. So he may be putting in work at local high school fields with wide receiver friends that he's made during his days in the NFL. And Dillon may have some family issues. So we're certain and confident at this point that all of these guys are putting in the necessary work, and we'll find out exactly where things stand once we get a better look at things in training camp. But right now, I think that they're all doing the work that's required of them, and we'll just kind of see what happens.
That was really good.
And that gives you no information whatsoever.
That was really good, but it also gave 10 times more than Kevin Stefanski ever would have given.
As I was talking, I'm like, no, he probably wouldn't have said that.
Chris,
I'll do mine real quick, right?
Mike, we got time?
Can I do mine?
Chris has interviewed him much more than I have.
I want to make sure, Chris, Mikey McNuggets, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Chris, Coach Chris, whatever you like to be called. Coach, how have the quarterbacks been in the facility so far this summer?
Yeah, Mike, I understand the question. I don't want to get into it, but I'll tell you that the quarterbacks are all working really hard, and we feel really good about all the guys in that room.
You nailed it because it was 8 seconds. That's what he got.
Can you tell I sat through a few of those?
I understand the question.
I understand the question.
That was like he learned that on
Nailed it.
101 day.
Nailed
You
it.
have to say that you understand the question.
He even got the little grumble at the start.
Yeah, you nailed it. And 8 seconds because I went on way, way longer than Kevin would have.
Well done.
But this is, again, I like when the coach peels the curtain back and gives us a look inside the facility. Kevin never did that. We never got a sense of what was truly going on behind closed doors. So kudos to Todd Monken for actually answering the questions. And the other thing I like was he didn't protect anybody. He told the truth. And if it makes Dillon Gabriel look bad, I didn't make you look bad. You made yourself look bad. Get your ass in the building. It's just that simple.